Hello and welcome back, guys. Today we're going to talk about brainstorming and pre-writing, and this is going to be your introduction to the writing process, which we will be covering all semester long. So as we go through this presentation, I want you to kind of think, are you more left brain or right brain, more creative or analytical? We're going to look at several different types of pre-writing, and some of them are more geared towards creative people, where others are more geared towards analytical people. Although lots of people are a combination of the two, and you are definitely welcome to try any of the pre-writing techniques that I'm going to talk to you today. So the ones that we're going to look at are free writing, looping, listing, clustering, cubing, questioning, and outlining. And I'm just going to go over what these are and how you can use them in your writing process. So we're going to start with free writing. Free writing is an informal method of writing about your ideas. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to either decide on a length of time or a certain amount of space on a page and sit down and just write as much as you can about that topic. So maybe you're going to write for 10 minutes, or maybe you're going to write for one page and you just write until you are finished. If you can't think of anything to write, that's okay. You can write, I can't think of anything to say, until you have something to say. And then once the time is up or the page is full, you go back through what you have written, underline anything that sticks out to you, important passages or pieces that interest you. Free writing actually works really well for pretty much all types of people. There's something about the exercise that kind of unlocks our brain. There's actually classes that you can take just in free writing. So it's kind of an interesting topic to explore. So here's some just examples of what free writing might look like. You can see that it's not necessarily correct grammar or sentence structure here, but rather it's just students getting all of their ideas out. So feel free to pause this if you want to kind of read these examples and see what they say. But you can see that, one of the students is talking about a paper that she has to write about the environment, and through sort of this chain of thought, she gets to a potential topic. The other one is about a student who went to get his driver's license, and maybe the experience was a little bit different than he had originally expected it to be. The next type of pre-writing that I want you to know about is looping. And looping is just a more intense or focused version of free writing. It can help you explore what you already know about a topic. So you're going to start off just like you would regular free writing. Free write for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or one page, whatever you want to do. And then after you have done that and completed that exercise, go back, see what you've written, and pick out one or two really great ideas that you generated, and then just focus on that and do another free writing loop. Something along the lines of, I guess what I was trying to say was, or what surprises me most from what I wrote is. If you sit down and try free writing and your brain just comes alive and all of this stuff comes out and it tends to be a really fruitful exercise for you, try looping. If you sit down to do free writing and you fill a page full of, I don't know what to say, then maybe that's not necessarily how you work, and so you might want to try one of the other types of pre-writing. The next one that I have up here is listing. If you are the type of person who just function better if you have a to-do list, this might actually be a great pre-writing exercise for you to use. It tends to work better for people that are more analytical. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to list thoughts or ideas about your topic as they come to you. So maybe if you're free writing, pre-writing for your narrative essay, you might say some important people in my life are, my significant other or my parent or my sibling. And maybe you decide, hey, I think I want to write about my sibling. And so you're going to list things that you love about your sibling, or maybe things that you don't love about your sibling, things that got on your nerves, or how your sibling impacted you. And you are just going to go through and make lists about potential topics, about ideas that you have about those topics. You can look at the relationships between items on your list and find patterns. And a lot of times listing can serve as a great start to an outline. So here's just some examples of listing and what it looks like when a student, uses this as a pre-writing exercise. So we can see here that on the right image, the student was thinking about significant events in their life. Cut my chin with metal, caught my finger in a car door, twisted my ankle on the stairs. Maybe this student could be a little bit clumsy. Maybe that's what they want to write. I definitely see some patterns in this list. The next one that I want to talk to you about is clustering. This is also sometimes called mapping. Clustering tends to work really well for people who are more geared towards creativity. And clustering is a pre-writing technique that connects ideas visually. If you're the type of person who wants to see it on the paper, wants to see it with your eyes, then this will probably work with you. It helps students just understand how different ideas relate to one another. So you've probably done this before, but essentially what you're going to do is you're going to write your topic in the middle of a blank sheet of paper and then circle it. And then you're going to write ideas relating to that topic around it, circle them, connect them to the central idea, and then just branch out from there. And then you just keep going until you can't think of anything else related to your topic. Now, I'm going to show you some images of this, but let me preface it with your clustering doesn't have to be beautiful or aesthetically pleasing. The couple of images that I found, here's one. Obviously, this person, you can tell, is very creative. This is, visually pleasing, but yours does not have to be. It's just sort of an idea about connecting things visually. Here's another example of that. This is Paul Foreman, and he does these really amazing mind maps. So we can see here he was thinking about Leonardo da Vinci and just sort of some aspects of him. And we can see how he connected all of these ideas. And then here's one more clustering example from Paul Foreman. So obviously there's a lot of work put into this. If you're the type of person who's constantly drawing on your notes or that sort of thing, this might be a good indication that this will work for you. Okay, the next pre-writing technique that I want to talk about is cubing. Just like a cube has 6 sides, you kind of examine your topic from each of the different sides. So I would ask you to describe it. Maybe you want to write your essay on your dad. So who is your dad? What is he like? How would you describe him? Compare whatever your topic is. What is it like? Or what is it not like? How is your dad like all dads, or how is your dad different than other dads? Associate it, classify it. What does it relate to? What groups does it belong to? How does your dad fit in or maybe not fit in to your family overall, or into, his career field or any other group that he could possibly belong to? Analyze it, apply it. What's it good for? How is the fact that this person was your dad affected your life? And then argue it, argue for it, or argue against it. Choose a position relating to whatever your topic is and defend it. Or argue against it. So really when you participate in this exercise, you look at something from all different angles. This is one of the pre-writing techniques that works very well for analytical people. Questioning is very similar to cubing. If you sit down to write your story and you're like, okay, I know this is what I want to talk about, but I don't know exactly what details belong in here and what don't. Questioning is a great brainstorming method or pre-writing technique to get started. You know, you're going to start with questions like who, what, why, when, where, and how. Who is this story about? What happened? Why is this story significant? When did it happen? Obviously, you know, if you're telling a narrative, it makes a big difference if it happened to you when you were 3 or 33. Where did it happen and how did it affect me or how did it come about? So once again, this is a great pre-writing technique for analytical people because a lot of times they can go through and kind of check the boxes, and they don't necessarily have to have, you know, a lot of creativity to participate in an activity like this. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is outlining. So every essay that you write should have an outline before you write the paper. Outlines create strong essays. It gives you a direction to go with your essay, kind of like a roadmap. So there's no confusion. A lot of times, you know, when students are struggling with an essay or it doesn't feel like it's going in the right direction, it's because they don't have a strong outline. So after you do all of the other pre-writing or brainstorming activities that you want to do, and you definitely know what you want to write about, that is when you will sit down and start your outline. You're always going to start with your introduction. What do you want to put into your essay to get your reader's attention and to introduce your topic? And then you go through as many main ideas as you have in your essay. There's 3 here, but 3 is not a magic number. Some maybe only have 2, maybe some will have 7. It just depends on whatever you're writing. And then you can go in and even further fill out what you're going to include as supporting evidence or detail. And then eventually you will throw any ideas that you want to put into your conclusion, into the conclusion section of your outline. For every essay that you write in this class, you will turn in an outline before the paper is due, just so that everybody is on the right track before you actually sit down to write your essay. If you have any questions on brainstorming, pre-writing, or outlining, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, you can get busy practicing this useful skill in the writing process for your first essay project.